Hello, everyone. My name is Yihan. It's my pleasure to be here sharing my presentation. The topic today is the null object. I think for most audience from the computer science, null object is a very common one in your programming language. For your code project, you will to use the if-else structure in your code to ensure the efficiency of the whole code because of the existence of the null object. However, are you sure you understand the project well? I think most of you is limited in the common use of the null. Today, I will share my deep understanding of the null object with you. Firstly, let's see the meaning of the null object. You can see in the slide, in computer science, a null object, often referred to simply as null, is a special value or reference that indicates the absence of a meaningful or valid object or value. I think this definition is a little complex and abstract for most audience. I think there is another example which must match your requirements. This example is zero. I think most of us are familiar with the zero. Zero, although zero is means nothing, it can still give a lot of information from the zero. For example, zero can mean that you have no money, you get a 0 point in your exam. I think null object is very similar to zero because they will also means nothing, but they still can get some information from their own selves. Uh, well, I think it will be very helpful for you to understand null object, but I think nothing is more useful than a good example. Let's see this UML diagrams. This diagram is a screen board user's part, which can control the board motion in the screen and can have special color effect. In order to achieve this project, it can be achieve a class for the board. This board can contain two strategy: board motion strategy, board color strategy. Board motion strategy is to control the motion. Board color is to control the color. For this project, we should consider a lot of cases to avoid the problems in the code. So I think the simplest strategy in this part is a no strategy. So we need to consider null object, null board motion strategy pattern in this part. However, the main problem is that how to solve this problem and why we try to choose this. Because we still need to create an object to mean this board. Although this board may be no color, no motion, we still to provide a memory for this part. But in order to ensure the whole systems, we need to create this strategy, null board motion strategy and null board color strategy. Doing this strategy, it can make it work well. I think it will lead to a lot of causes. There are three consequences in this part. The first result is that it can avoid the influence of the null situation. Null situation is a very special case. If we can solve this problem, it can actually will achieve the third result. It can increase the efficiency of the whole project. Actually, it will also both of them can probably be implemented with essentially no code. For the no board motion strategy, null board color strategy, this strategy will include no code in this part, but we still created this class in this part. In conclusion, I think this design and this UML diagrams is a good idea. I think it's also very important for you to understand how to use the null object rightly. The first rule is that a null object does not transform to become a real object. A null object is an abstract one. Actually, the computers and our designer sometimes don't know what happened in detail in the code. And if we pay more attention to this part, our efficiency in the project will decrease a lot. So the best choice for us to ignore them and don't pay more attention to it. The second rule is that a null object can be a special case of the strategy pattern. Although a null object is also an object in our code, but a null object will lose a lot of information, important information, compared with some common one. So we should to assume a null object a special case. The third rule is that a null object can be used to allow a visitor to safely visit a hierarchy and handle the null solution. This is because most of users and visitors may not know how to work well and they will make a wrong input into our systems. And sometimes the system cannot know what happened and what they write. So the best choice for the system to solve this problem is to return a null object. If you forget to add a null object into your code, it will lead to the collapse of the whole system. The final one is that a null object is a concrete collaborator class that acts as a collaborator for a silent which needs one. Yes, I think this is the best meaning for that to consider all cases and consider special cases. Now, I think you see these rules, you maybe know how to use the null object rightly now. Let's see a good example. This is a Java code, and you can see the left part. It created a lot of variables and used the for loop to print each notifier in the card. In the code, you can see the right part, notifier factory class. In the creative notifiers void, you can use the switch. I consider a lot of common cases in this part, but you can see the bottom code, return notifier factory null notifier. This one is very important. This is also a common case, is a special case in the strategy. If we forget to use this part, it will lead to a big problem in the whole system. But how to solve this problem? Maybe you can have some ideas. However, the best answer is that it also created a class called null notifier. It inherits from the in notifier, but he also created one called notif. But the most important is that there is no code in the notif void. It has the same structure as a common notifier, but because it's no code in this part, it will become a null object because they have some special meaning compared with the common one. I think maybe you have know the meaning, know the UML diagrams, know the rules of the null object, but we should also to know the advantages and disadvantages of the null object. The first advantage is that null object can avoid null reference errors. Null object can help prevent null reference or null pointer exceptions by providing a well-defined placeholder for the absence of a value. Developers can avoid errors that occur when trying to access or manipulate a null reference. The good example is the C++. When we use a C++ to initialize a variable, we will provide a memory for the variable. If you forget to add a value into this variable, when you get access to the variable, we will get a null message, and we can continue to work our project well. This is the power of the null object. The second benefit is that it can avoid special cases. Null object can help eliminate the need for special case handling when dealing with missing values. This simplifies the code and makes it easier to maintain. This is because the null object actually is a very abstract definition. Null object actually can include a lot of cases. For example, loss of the value, loss of the memory, loss of the address, but you don't know what happened, and it's difficult for the computer to understand what happened in the code. So the best choice for us to solve this problem is to put them together, and we assume them all a special case in it. It can increase the efficiency of the whole systems. However, this will also lead to a lot of problems in the code. The first problem is that it can increase the memory usage. Depending on the implementation, null object may consume memory and resource, especially in languages that allocate memory for objects. This can be a concern in resource-constrained environment. I think these problems may mostly happen in the company. This is because the company want to ensure the efficiency of the whole code. They will try to avoid the appearance of the null object. However, the system cannot work well. It will lead to the increased rate of the null object. However, null object will waste a lot of memory in the systems, and it will decrease the work in the company. The second disadvantage is that it will lead to the semantic overload. In some cases, null object can lead to semantic overloading, where the null object represents both the absence of a value and a specific placeholder value, making it challenging to distinguish between the two. Yeah, I'll say again, it is an abstract definition, so it's difficult for us to distinguish between the cases. So the best choice for us to solve this problem is to put them together and assume them all is a special case null object. Well, we have reached the end of the presentation. Let's get a conclusion. I think the null object is a very powerful tool in the diagram to control the flow of the code. Although it still owns some small problems, we still should to encourage the utilization of the null object. Well, we have finished my presentation. Thank you very much.